Hi everyone, it's Michelle coming to you from Modern Jewish Wedding Central. Last week, I got to do one of my favorite things on my job. I got to go and talk to future event planners at a local university. They had lots of questions for me. One of the best ones that they asked was, what is the number one item on the checklist to everyone that you give to do first? So that's a great question. And most event planners will tell you that the very first thing that everybody should do is to have a budget. It's impossible for you to hire an event planner to help you stick to a budget if you don't know what that budget's going to be. But after you set a maximum amount of money that you plan to spend and that we're going to help you stick to, the very first task that you need to do, almost even before you speak to an event planner, is to know the size of your event. You need to have a guest list. Your guest list is going to inform many of the other decisions that a professional event planner is going to help you plan along the way. For example, the size of the space that you need. Your event list is also going to help you decide if you're going to include kids. It's going to help you plan a date for your wedding or ceremony because there are going to be people on that guest list that you want so bad you're going to be willing to change your schedule to accommodate their needs. Guest list is going to inform almost every other part of your event. And therefore, even before you hire me or any other professional event planner, help us out by knowing the scope of your event. Do you have further questions that we can answer for you on our weekly edition of Pop the Question? Leave them in the comments below, and maybe we'll answer yours in a future week. Hi, it's Michelle here, coming to you from Modern Jewish Wedding Central, aka the Style Me Pretty for the Jewish bride. Last week, I got to do one of my favorite things. I believe very much in educating every event planner and future event planners on our industry, and especially on the unique and special traditions of a Jewish event and how to be a professional in this sometimes not so professional industry. So I got to go last week and speak to the Texas Bells, the event planning group for the University of Texas at Austin. They asked me some really great questions, and I want to share this one with you. Michelle, after our clients set a budget for the event, what is the number one thing on the checklist that they need to do first? And that's a great question. Some people might tell you to go out and begin hiring your vendors, the photographer, the DJ, find your venue, get your event planner on board. But the number one thing that you can do or need to do before you do any of that is to understand the scope of your event. It's going to inform the fees of everyone else that you're going to bring on board. And to define the scope of your event, you first have to have guesses? Anyone? That's correct, a guest list. If you're a regular reader of my blog, you may have heard me say that a time or two before. You have to have a guest list. And I know it sounds brutal, but it really is the best way when you're creating a guest list to divide your guests into the A, B, and C categories. No one outside of this room will ever need to know that you did it and how brutal you were about doing it. But you need to set the guidelines. Those people on your A list, you would change your date if it meant they would be able to take vacation and be there with you to celebrate. The people on your B list, you certainly hope will be able to join you. They're people that your mom and dad and maybe your fiance's mom and dad hope will be able to join you, but they're not on that A list. The people on your C list, let's face it, if you have the space and the money, you're going to invite them. Or if some people on your B list don't come, you'll invite them. But in reality, these are the people that you feel like you have to invite, but they're not as important as those A-listers and those B-listers. Again, it sounds brutal. As soon as you're done and you've created your master list, burn it. And burn the thoughts and know that the people that you most want to be with you on a day that is super special, maybe one of the most special days of your life, that those people will be there for you. Once you have your A list, you have the absolute minimum amount of people that you're going to have at your wedding, and you will then be able to go on and hire vendors who can appropriately quote you their fees for the scope of the event that you're going to plan. Mazel tov! See you next time, and be sure to leave any comments that you have about future questions you want to ask right below.